What if your job is not just taking your time and your energy, but your actual years of life? Not metaphorically. Not as a figure of speech. Literally, the structure of the modern 9-to-5 working day is measurably, scientifically, documented to shorten human lifespan. And the most disturbing part is not that it happens. The most disturbing part is that the people who designed this system knew. They studied the data. They saw the research. They built the schedule anyway. Because a slightly shorter life for you is a significantly more productive outcome for them. This is not a wellness video. This is an expose. And by the end of it you will never look at your alarm clock the same way again. Every morning when your alarm goes off, before you have spoken a word, before you have eaten, before you have seen daylight, your body floods with cortisol. Cortisol is your stress hormone. It is designed for emergencies. For moments when your ancestors needed to run from predators or fight for survival. It is a powerful, short-term biological tool that was never designed to be activated every single morning for 40 years. But that is exactly what the alarm clock does. It triggers a cortisol spike in a body that is not yet ready to be awake. Research published in the journal Psychoneuroendocrinology found that forced early awakening, waking before your body's natural rhythm completes, produces measurably elevated cortisol levels that persist throughout the day. Chronic elevated cortisol is directly linked to hypertension, cardiovascular disease, immune suppression, accelerated cellular aging, and increased risk of depression and anxiety. Your body was designed to wake when it was ready. The 9-to-5 was designed around factory shift requirements from the 19th century. Nobody asked your biology for its opinion. The average office worker sits for approximately 10 hours per day. Commute included, sometimes more. The British Journal of Sports Medicine published research showing that sitting for more than 8 hours per day with no physical activity carries a mortality risk comparable to smoking and obesity. Not comparable in a vague, approximate way. Statistically comparable. Your body was designed for movement. Not constant movement, but regular, varied movement distributed throughout the day. Hunter-gatherer populations, whose physical patterns most closely resemble our biological design, walked 8 to 10 miles daily and alternated between periods of activity and rest. The desk chair replaced all of that with stillness. 8 hours of unbroken stillness, 5 days a week, for 40 years. The consequences are documented across thousands of studies. Metabolic dysfunction. Spinal deterioration. Cardiovascular decline. Reduced cognitive function. Type 2 diabetes risk. The desk is not neutral. It is actively damaging the body that sits at it. The 9-to-5 does not just steal your waking hours. It attacks the hours when you are supposed to be recovering. The average start time for corporate jobs requires most workers to wake between 6 and 7 in the morning. Research from Oxford University, a 17-year study, found that before the age of 55, the human circadian rhythm is naturally aligned to wake between 8 and 9 in the morning for most people. The 9-to-5 forces the majority of the working population to wake 1 to 2 hours before their biology is designed to. This is called social jet lag, and it produces the same physiological effects as actual jet lag, repeated every single weekday for an entire career. Chronic sleep disruption, even mild, consistent disruption of 60 to 90 minutes per night, is associated with increased risk of cardiovascular disease, obesity, cognitive decline, and reduced life expectancy. A 2021 study in Nature Communications found that consistently sleeping 6 hours or fewer per night in your 50s is associated with a 30% increased risk of dementia. The system wakes you early. It keeps you stressed. It sits you down. And then it expects you to sleep on a schedule designed around the next morning's alarm, not around your biological needs. Beyond the physical damage, there is a psychological mechanism that the science documents with equal clarity. A landmark study by Michael Marmot, the Whitehall Study, tracking 17,000 British civil servants over decades, found one of the most powerful predictors of health outcomes was not income, not diet, not exercise. It was autonomy. Control over one's own work and time. Workers with the least control over their daily schedules had the highest rates of cardiovascular disease, mental health disorders, and early death. Workers with the most control had dramatically better outcomes across every health metric measured. The 9 to 5 is an autonomy destruction machine. Your hours are set by someone else. Your breaks are scheduled. Your location is mandated. Your output is measured. The biological cost of that loss of control, experienced every day for 40 years, is compounding damage to every system in your body. The research is not subtle. The conclusion is not ambiguous. Low autonomy kills people. Slowly, measurably, and completely legally. The solution is not to quit your job tomorrow. The solution is to understand what the research actually shows about human flourishing and to begin moving toward it deliberately. Studies on the happiest, healthiest, longest living populations on Earth, the blue zones identified by researcher Dan Buettner, consistently show the same patterns. Natural movement throughout the day, not structured exercise. Meaningful work with a sense of purpose, not passive employment. Social connection integrated into daily life. Control over schedule and pace. None of those things are compatible with the standard 9 to 5 structure. All of them are compatible with owning your time. The people who escape the health consequences of traditional employment almost always do it the same way. They build income that does not require their physical presence. They create the financial foundation that gives them the autonomy the research says is essential to human health. Financial independence is not just a money goal. It is a health intervention. The research says so. Your job is taking more than your time. It is taking your cortisol levels, your sleep quality, your cardiovascular health, your cognitive function, and statistically, your years. This is documented. This is measurable. This is not opinion. The system was not designed around your biology. It was designed around industrial productivity requirements from a century ago. Your body is paying the price for a schedule it was never built to sustain. Drop a yes in the comments if your Sunday nights already feel like a loss, because that dread is not weakness. That is your instincts correctly identifying a threat it was never designed to face 5 days a week for 40 years. Subscribe right now, because next week I will show you the exact steps people are taking to rebuild their financial life around their biology instead of around someone else's schedule. They own your hours. It is time to take them back.